stranger.
My name is Lyman Sheats. I'm a pinball, I'm a software engineer. But I've been working in pinball, programming pinball machines, for almost 30 years.
I'm Josh Sharpe. I am probably most well known as Roger Sharpe's son, the man who saved pinball, and president of the International Flipper Pinball Association, and someone who has tried to provide myself as a resource for anybody who's been crazy enough to want to make a pinball machine. I've been crazy enough to give my feedback, solicited or unsolicited, and have been happy that the team at CGC reached out about me being a part of finishing this Cactus Canyon game for their remake.
Cactus Canyon was kind of the last WPC game that was made in that kind of transition from making dot matrix WPC games to Pinball 2000, which had a video monitor.
And so for me, Cactus Canyon represents an era of Williams Bally games that the sights, the sounds, the rules are, I've referred to it, and this is internally to the CGC team, as the Williams charm. There's something that you just can't put your finger on when you're comparing all of these classic Williams Bally games to modern games today. They're different, and you can tell when you play them. The idea of being able to finish Cactus Canyon in that same vein that games like Attack from Mars, Medieval Madness, and Monster Bash that are still regarded as all-timers in the world, even among a sea of modern games over the last 20 years. The goal of trying to get Cactus into a position where it would be that next game that came out of Williams that had that same level of quality and charm, as I like to call it, it would fit right in that zone.
I think for me the biggest challenge was knowing that we had to finish this game sort of in the context of here's the work that's been done already, and in a perfect world everybody who was involved with the project originally would have been able to finish it and we wouldn't have been involved at all. Finishing the game in that context, and then I think the challenge is wanting to change. Hey, can I change this insert on the playfield? No, you can't. Hey, can I, no, you can't. And then also having those basic things in the game that people have already been experiencing for the last 20 plus years, that keeping those things intact and having those things that already really work, working on top of those instead of going in and changing them. Those were the big challenges.
The most challenging part was definitely, looking at that original Cactus team as the tree trunk, if you will, of game design, and knowing that we could add some branches and add some leaves into those branches, but in no way was I interested in getting a chainsaw, chopping the tree down, and making a new tree. So with that, there were a lot of challenges with figuring out, rules solutions that serviced what they were doing, but was still within the zone of making sure that people that buy games today would absolutely enjoy it.
If the original team had the time and the resources to do it, they would have done it. So to really do the research, do the due diligence on what the team wanted to see for the game, and then fill out those pieces of the puzzle.
The most important part of the story of this game was to actually get the story of this game from the people that created the story. So for me, there was a lot of research. I was able to reach back into my dad's Rolodex, get in contact with all the original design team members, and it was really, there was a lot of research I would kind of compare it to a licensed game. I came into it and this wasn't my world. This was a team at Williams that created this world. And my job was to help finish what their vision was. Being able to talk to Matt Coriel, Rob Berry, John Yao, all the people that were on the team, find out what their vision was for what this game ultimately should have been, and what can I do to help get it there.
Making a coin-op product is very different from making a consumer product. So when we made Coin Op, you make this game, this intense experience for 3 minutes is probably the average person playing, a Coin Op product. And for somebody at home where, I want, 18 hours, 20 hours, I like people who play home video games, like that's what they expect and now pinball. And we've kind of gone down that path. And for us, I think, and for me specifically, is to try to get the game to the point where you have that, where it can stand up in a home environment, where it's a little more than what we would do with a Coin Op product.
The thing I love most about the game is really, I spoke about it earlier, that Williams charm. To not have that, I mean, the games in my basement and the games that enthusiasts play, you kind of don't realize what you got until it's gone. And it is different. And there is something really satisfying about the games that were made in the 90s that were really made as commercial devices, that it's less of this marathon of a story and it's more of, get in, get out, get entertained really quick. And it's just a very unique experience that I don't think you get with other, games from other manufacturers right now. So it fills a really specific niche that I think people are continuing to be satisfied by that kind of entertainment. So I think it's a hole that can still be filled, and I think Cactus is a piece that can fill it.
I have an expectation when I walk up to the game that if the game is Cactus Canyon Remake, that it kind of needs to be, the skeleton bones of it need to be Cactus Canyon. It's a theme that people can kind of look at and kind of get it right away. They look at the back glass and they kind of understand Cactus Canyon, okay, it looks like a Western kind of theme. And then when they start, and that's what I love about the artwork and everything, is you get drawn into it and you can kind of look at the play field and see kind of the story, and you can kind of get it within maybe like the first 30 seconds of looking at the game. Well, working on this, I get involved like way more than I feel like, he makes rules. Nah, it's about story and engaging the player at an emotional level with the game. So story-wise, it is kind of the classic Western where it's kind of, what do you call it? Clint Eastwood kind of had this, the man with no name or stranger comes to town, and the town has some problems. There are some bad guys who are victimizing the people of the town, and there's some nefarious bad guys wreaking havoc on this town, and you're there to come in and clean it up, get things in order. So, and again, there are all kinds of characters and things that you would see in the West. Boss has a bunch of henchmen that rob banks, and Boss is kidnapping Polly, and there are gunfights and conflict with these characters. So overall, you're trying to work your way through all of the bad guys in the story and to ultimately battle Boss Bart and defeat him and, what should we say, restore law and order to Cactus Canyon. I certainly enjoy some of the new stories that we built into the game, where in the original game, Save Polly, the original intent of the designers, after obviously we talked to them, is to not just be saving Polly from the train when she's being held hostage in a bank on the right ramp and, captured in a canoe by Boss Bart in the waterfall on the left ramp, and to build out those stories with rules of their own to add more to the stories and the characters in the game. And then obviously from a rule standpoint, which we enjoy a lot doing, story first, rules second.
Feature-wise, when Lyman and I were both sort of attacking how the puzzle of this project was going to come together, the most exciting part of the game for us that the original team did release with the games that were built was the interaction with the bad guy drop targets and the posts on the bottom and the gunfight. And I think for us, trying to match entertainment-wise, point-wise, importance-wise in the story of the game was really, we kept coming back to that as the thing that was just the coolest thing in this game.
What are the big elements of the story, to kind of get the player engaged in the story? What can they look at on the playfield to see what are the elements of the story? What am I trying to do? And what's really great about what the guys at CGC did with this game is really made some nice enhancements to the game to make all of those things really obvious to the player. The train and the train tracks, the topper on the game, Boss Bart, all of those things. And the thing that I like most about it is the mechanical part of the game, is Boss Bart. You get to hit him, you get to see him react. The mine, you get to see it open up. The drop targets, the bad guys, you get to see those pop up and you can shoot them, and interacting with the topper, all of those things.
When you think back to those classic 90s Williams games, the toy interaction with the ball and unique ways for the player to enjoy, them shooting a ball on a piece of wood and having cool things happen. You have a moving train that goes across the playfield. You have these drop targets that really feel like bad guys. You have the Boss Bart in the corner that the ball's flinging at him. It's actually hitting him. His hat's going up. You're busting him up. And the topper is just an extension of that, where you have Boss Bart living up there, and the ability to really feel connected to him during gameplay is something that I find incredibly satisfying and entertaining. The Ellie features a topper that has Boss Bart up there, and he will interact with you during your adventures in Cactus Canyon. The minigame, you are faced with needing to kill enough bad guys while saving the innocent bystanders of Cactus Canyon. So your goal as the bad guys start to attack you fast and furiously is to get through that unscathed, and it is quite fun.
I think the attention to detail that Chicago Gaming has for this game, and just the amount of iteration that's happened to get it into a beautiful package. Look at the playfields. You have ramp shots and orbits and storylines and characters and a world where that's what the game is.
Similar to games like Medieval Madness and Attack from Mars, players will step up, and there's these advancements of shots all around the playfield that will get you into different features within the game. So on the left orbit, you will advance towards being able to ride a bucking bronco and play that story out. The left ramp features it's a save poly mode where you are saving her from a waterfall. The center ramp, you're saving her from being rescued on the train tracks, which is from the original game. The trick shot mode allows you to sharpen your skills as a want-to-be sheriff and be able to show how accurate you are through your progressive shots within that mode. And the right ramp, you are saving Polly from a bank heist. So being able to get into those stories, rescue Polly or not, and if you're able to do all of that, defeat all of the Bart brothers and their entire family worth of villains, there's a set of challenges here right in the middle of the playfield that a player can earn all 5 stars on their badge and advance to the High Noon Wizard mode. There's a quick draw feature where if you roll on the in lane, it will pop up one of the single drop targets that are found across the playfield. And if you can defeat all 4 bad guys, you'll get into Showdown Multi-Ball. So very similar to sort of the challenges that you face on Attack from Mars to then be able to rule the universe.
There were a lot of, when we got on this project, there were a lot of speech calls that were recorded in the ROMs, but not in the game. Just, okay, so Polly, I'm tied to the tracks and I can't get up, and all kinds of other quotes from Boss Bart, Polly, there's Bionic Bart, a whole bunch of speech, and it was in the ROMs, never called. So again, putting those pieces of the puzzle together, all those speech just sort of fit naturally into what we were doing with the game. So there were a lot. I think people will probably look forward to a lot, all of those extra speech calls that instead of bringing somebody into the studio and having them record new things and trying to get the balances and the inflection. I mean, some of these people aren't, they're older, their voice is going to sound different, whatever, but to have all of those things, to just be able to just put them right into the game and have them make sense, like that was pretty cool.
I don't know if nostalgia is correct, but the project is Cactus Canyon Remake, and I think at least why I'm involved is I feel a debt to those people at Williams that put this game together. And the idea of trying to finish what they started in as best of a way that I could help to facilitate that, I think and hope that they are proud of the work that we're able to do for this. And if they're proud, just based off of the feedback of just that era of games. Like, the people that made the games, when they make good stuff, the world usually accepted that stuff as great. So taking a page out of that playbook, that was the direction for this project, is make that game that nobody got to see. And I think Lyman and I both agree, like, we've been having a lot of fun playing the game, and with that, the confidence and excitement of getting to share what we've done with people is the most exciting part for me. Like, I know it's a blast, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone else enjoy it as much as I have as a player.
When I looked at it, it wasn't starting with a blank piece of paper. And design becomes much easier when here are the limitations of what you have to do. Here's the playfield. We're not going to change the playfield. Make this game, finish this game in the context of, again, what everybody wanted it to be, I suppose, originally. And that job becomes a job that I can do this job, and I'm going to do this job well.
Thanks for following along, partner. Saddle up and ride to your favorite arcade to play some Cactus Canyon Remake today. Or better yet, don't be a yellow belly. Purchase one for your game room today.
Just want to see if that works.
I guess all of a sudden.
Just edit all the ums and likes. What he's really trying to say is that he gets to have all.
I do. I get to have all. I get to play. Thank you later.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you as a hangout.
Oh, what are you doing?
No.
All right, Lyman,
Good job.
You're fantastic.
Good job.